Welcome back to Bella Graffito Art. I am Kirsten, and on today's video we are going right back to Five Below, and we are going to be testing out some markers from there. These are oil-based markers. It's a 24 pack. I've never used an oil-based marker before. I'm assuming it might be kind of like a paint marker because I've used oil-based paint markers. Have no idea. I was just wandering through the aisles of Five Below, looking at the stuff in their art selection, saw these markers, it intrigued me, and I decided I would test these out. So, Five Below, lovely place to find you some art supplies. If you're on a budget, they've got all sorts of things, pens, markers, colored pencils. They've even got canvas. They'll have like easels sometimes depending on the location you go to. Lots of cool stuff there. No, I'm not sponsored, but if they did, hit me up. Anyways, we're gonna test these out, and I've got all sorts of surfaces to test them out on because these say you can use them on all sorts of surfaces. So let's get into it and see how these work. So something I was really interested in when I got these was that it says it's a soft brush tip and a fine tip. I've never seen a soft brush tip for a paint marker. I've seen it on any other marker type, but I haven't seen it for a paint marker. Also, this says it's an oil marker, so that'll be interesting. The only oil-based markers, paint markers that I know I have are some that I got from like the art store. So it was like Sharpie brand, I believe. They're oil-based, so that just means they can go on any material. So these say they can be used on paper, canvas, ceramic, and glass surfaces, as well as wood, stone, plastic, and fabric. So that's quite a few different things on there. I'm gonna have to round up some of these things and see if these markers actually do work on that. Because if they do, this is an amazing deal for these markers. So I'm going to take these out of the package and get them all prepped, and I'll show you what it looks like for one of the markers so you can see what I'm saying, because it does take a while usually. Oh, I ripped the package. I usually take them out of the package anyway and put them in a new container, like, you know, one of these. But let's see how they are. Maybe they've already been started. That would be nice. Wait, is the pigment already in there? What? Okay, I thought these were gonna be like a paint marker. Oh, this changes things. You don't have to prep these. Now, what I was thinking is that, let me grab one of these from my little container. I was thinking, oh, they're probably going to be like paint markers because they're oil-based markers, and usually when I see that, it's on a paint marker. So definitely went into these blind and having no idea what they were. This is a brand I always use for my paint markers. It's the Molotow brand. You might also see them with the different label like this, the One for All markers. These are gorgeous. I love these so much. The pigment is great. The nibs on the end are fabulous. They're really nice and smooth. I actually painted a barrel for a business with these markers, a metal barrel. And you can actually go see that if you're ever in the spring area and you go to Thistle Draft Shop. I've got a barrel there that I designed, but I used mostly these markers, and I also used ones called Crink markers. I love those markers as well. They're a little stinky, but they are fabulous. This is what I was thinking it was going to be with these markers. I was figuring it was going to be like this. Usually, please don't do what I just did. Actually put the cap on. But you have to shake them up, and then you press. So like you would press down on the nib, and then you would get your paint out of the marker that way. That's what I was thinking these were going to be. But these are just straight up, says it's an oil marker. Is this really? Is this going to work on all those different surfaces? Okay, you know what? I guess I don't have to prep these. So I'm going to go grab some different examples. I might not have any glass, but I'm gonna go grab some random things here. I know I'll have paper, canvas, ceramic. I'm gonna go grab some stuff and see how these are gonna work on those different surfaces, because this has now become a little bit more interesting since these aren't like the standard paint marker. Okay, we are back. I have gathered some supplies. I have gathered some things to test these markers out on. So we're going to do the paper first. Now, these black lines on my paper, I like doing this with paint markers because then you can test the opacity of the markers to see how much area it will cover. So is it going to be more of a transparent color, or is it actually going to be nice and bold and cover over on top of another color? So I like to do it with like some solid black and then also just, you know, some more narrow lines there. So I'll do that with a few of these colors so that way we can kind of see how their coverage is, because again, this is new to me. I've never used an oil marker. I've used an oil paint marker, so we'll see how this goes. I do want to test out the soft brush tip because I feel like that's got some pretty good coverage, but it's just looking like a regular marker. So I don't know how this is going to work on those other surfaces, but I did go grab a bunch of other stuff. Like I even have a rock from outside, like a river rock from the front yard, to see if it works. It said it works on stone. That's what I had. So coverage wise, oof. I'm not confident. This feels like, oof. The noises. It feels like it's just regular marker. Like I don't know how this is gonna work on other surfaces. We're gonna try to stick with it. I will stick with this one. I know if anyone saw my last video about the paint by number, that went that did not go well. Ooh. Do you see that? We've got some smudgery happening. Ooh, we've got some smudging happening. And this is just regular permanent marker that I have down there. So this has a broad tip and a narrow tip. So that's what I have on here. And usually that doesn't smudge with like anything. So that's interesting. So I'm just trying to grab some random colors, like ones that are lighter, mid-range, darker ones. Did I do this one already? I don't want to do like every single marker. Let's try this other end. Oof. Okay, well, they're not really covering anything. It's like a regular marker. Does it bleed? I've got all these measurements on here from when I was trying to get something framed. It does bleed through paper. Okay, so I also had grabbed, and look at the tip of that. It kind of already, it's hard to see on camera. It already looks like the pigment is running out. Oh, I don't know. Okay. Let me try this super light. Oh. Okay. I had grabbed this paper because this is by Ugly Books. I'm not sponsored. I just had bought a bunch of these because I wanted to test them out with my other paint markers. But I had got this color paper. It's like a deep dark blue, like a navy blue, because I wanted to see how the markers look on this dark paper. But it's not even... it's not even covering the dark of the permanent marker. First up, we have canvas. This is just a regular 6" by 6" canvas. So it says you can use these on there. So I'm going to try one of these, and I'll use the fine tip first. I'm just going to do like a little funky shape. Okay, I mean, it feels like it's gliding on there pretty good. Not bad. And this one, I'm assuming, is like a neon. These don't have any color guides on them at all. It's just like the color of the cap of the marker is the color of the marker. So that's just basically all you have to go on. It's not too bad with coloring things in with the fine tip, but let's also try the brush end. This seems like it's a little... Okay, there we go. It takes a second to get going with the brush end. Okay. I mean, it doesn't seem too bad. it does feel like the canvas is too rough for this though. Like it's too rough for the marker. Like I feel like after a while of doing this, it's going to wear down the marker too much. And the thing about paint markers, especially those ones that I have, the Molotov ones, not sponsored, but I wish, you can buy replacement nibs for those and it'll totally be fine. So I wanted to overlap on here and see how that's looking. It looks so nice and bright on the camera, so that's cool. I'm guessing this is probably one of the neon colors, but they don't really tell you on the back if you're going to have neons. It just shows the colors. So yeah, okay. We're kind of getting some blending happening. Not too crazy, but I mean, it's not too bad. I'm trying to be really gentle though, because like I said, it feels like it's just too rough of a surface for the brush marker, but that's canvas. This is a ceramic coaster. It's just like a tester one I had when I was testing out some stuff. Different things on coasters. I had actually made some resin covered coasters. I still have some of these on my website. But I had made these with the paint markers, some spray paint that I layered, and then I had my paint markers that I drew on top, and then covered this in resin. It was just like an example, fun little thing for me to do. So I will not be making these again because it was a lot. But I do have, I think maybe one set of these left on my website. But apparently you are still supposed to be able to use these markers on ceramic surfaces because that's what it says on their package. So we're gonna grab a color here. I'm just gonna do like little doodles. I'm not trying to do anything too crazy. I just want to see how it lays down. Now it does seem like it's absorbing into the ceramic pretty well, and it's not like smudging off. Let's try the other end. That was the fine tip. Now the brush tip. The brush tip is streaky. Ooh, yeah. Now you also have to know about ceramic. Now this is like a matte ceramic. This hasn't been sealed or anything. With the ceramic, any sort of liquid that goes on here is really going to get absorbed. So it's really absorbing from the marker, and it's making it streaky. Okay, let's try lighter color and see what happens. I'm going to put some water across it and see what happens. Because they're supposed to be oil based. So it shouldn't streak or anything. It should just be set in there. Okay, yeah. Not bleeding or anything. You'd still want to seal this though anyway. Because it is super, super porous. Alright, so ceramic, it seems like the fine tip is a little bit better to use than the brush tip. Ooh, let's try to just color in like a block. Ooh, like I can feel it's like streaky. Oh, I just don't like this on a textured surface, on a porous surface. I mean, it did color it in relatively even. The only thing I don't like is it feels like it's going to mess up your brush tip after a while. Next, I have this glass plate. I'm actually going to do this on the back, and I hope it doesn't mess up the plate. I use this plate for other things, not food, but just like decorative photo stuff. So I'm going to try on the back of this and see how these colors work. I think I might try it. Let me try to do this like pale yellow. So we're going to try it on the back of this. For the the most part coming off, but there are some spots that are indented where it's stayed on there. And that's why I did the back of the plate. Make it look like it's a flower situation. Okay. I could probably do like the rest of the plate. I mean, I won't do it right now, but I mean later if I want to. I could maybe do the rest of the plate. I don't know about running it through the dishwasher. I'm not going to do that, but okay. I mean, I guess it worked out pretty good on glass. Here I have a piece of wood. It's just old wood that I've just, had. That's like project wood that you can just use. You can find it in the craft store. It's usually pretty cheap, very lightweight. So we're going to see how these markers fare on the wood. Again, this brush tip has me concerned just because the surfaces seem, except for the glass, any other surface just feels too rough for the brush tip, like it's going to mess it up. But it is soaking into that wood pretty well. Of course, if you start going against the grain, see it kind of drags on here. And then, ooh, oh, it just sounds like I'm messing up the marker. I mean, it does fill in areas pretty well. It's not bad. I don't know about if I had like a full-on project, if I'd be able to color the whole thing in. And then if it starts to bleed, that's another thing to pay attention to. It seems like it is a little bit like starting to bleed out into the grain of the wood. Not as bad as I thought it would be though. So, okay, this doesn't seem too bad on wood. I feel like it still might be better on smooth surfaces like the glass. The brush tip, though, ugh, it really does feel like you're messing up the brush tip. Also, details, I don't know if you're going to get like super fine details if you're doing something on wood. I don't know if you'll be able to get as detailed as you want because it does kind of start to bleed out a little bit on the edges. Next up, we have stone. Like I said, I just grabbed a rock from outside to see how the markers would look on there. So we're going to give this a go onto the rock. Hopefully you can see it fine. Let me try. I'm going to use this green color here. All right. Oh. I can't tell that's green, really. It just looks like a mark on there. Oh, and it soaks into it too, and it just kind of blends into it. Oh, goodness. Even with refocusing, I think it's still not really showing up. Okay. If you were interested in doing some lovely rock art, not sure if you'd want to use these markers. Oh, that's supposed to be blue. You can't even tell. Okay. It's a no on the stones. It's a no on the stones. For the plastic, I just grabbed a lid. I have so many of these in my art studio. I use these as like little paint palettes too, so it doesn't matter to me if I get the marker on here. So I'm all for trying the marker out on the plastic. Ooh. I had a feeling it was going to streak a little bit. And that's with the brush end. Oh, made it worse. Okay, and this is brand new. This is like freshly washed, brand new. There's nothing on here. There shouldn't be any kind of residue on here. So that's what it looks like on there. Let's see with the fine tip. Once again, the fine tip in just feels better. It just feels like writing with a regular marker, honestly. So yeah, I mean, nice and smooth, gliding. It does seem like it dries kind of fast. Let me see if this streaks. Oh. So it is very well, before I say it's permanent, let me get my water. And there is water going on there. See if it's getting any. I mean, it is changing the color of the water. Oh, yeah, see, look. It's coming off. Oh. Well, that's not even with soap. That's just with water. And it just comes right off the plastic. So if you were labeling like cups or something, you had like an event, you know, or whatever, if you were like labeling little cups, I wouldn't. Unless you're like, oh, I'm fine with it wiping off. But I don't know, maybe if you let it sit longer. But I would figure it would just not come off at all with just water. Just water. So yeah, now when it comes to fabric, I don't have any like fabric that I'm okay with marking up on other than my, you know, gross little paint rack. I'm gonna find this one clear spot. I just want to see if it bleeds on fabric. So I'm just gonna put some marks on here because I don't care about the. I mean, it's my paint rag, so I don't really. Doesn't matter to me if it gets more stuff on it. Ooh, is that even showing up? Ooh, this already looks really light, like it's already running out. Oh goodness. Oh, okay. Maybe try another brush and. So what I was thinking with this is, you know how, I don't know if people do this anymore. I remember people like signing t-shirts and stuff at the end of the school year. You like sign your friends' t-shirts. It's like, okay, maybe that would work. Or if you do like shoes, some people, you know, like draw on their shoes and stuff. On like a blank shoe. I'm just trying to saturate this with water just to see if it starts to bleed or not. As for running through, it does soak through a little bit. So I'm just going to rub with my fingers. It does seem like it bleeds a little bit. Again, I just put this on there. I don't know how it would fare sitting longer, but I don't know if I trust this with being on fabric. I think so far glass has been the one where it stayed on there the most, but I mean, I don't know how it's going to do with soap because again, I just used water when I was using the plate. So I don't know. I think just overall, this is a good deal if you just want to draw on some paper. Even on canvas seemed like it wasn't going to be too bad. I wouldn't do a big canvas with these, but just like the smaller 6x6 canvas that I had seemed really fine. Stone, nah. I think porous surfaces, these really aren't that great on porous surfaces, even though you said you can. Said you could use them on those. Lies. Dark paper, not happening. On white paper, definitely, maybe a toned paper, but any of these super light colors, they're not going to show up on something that's more of a toned color paper. So you're definitely sticking with white paper on these. So white paper, canvas would be okay. Ceramic, yeah. I'm a little sad. I thought they'd be, you know, pretty good. I mean, you know, $5. I don't like when people hate on stuff just because it was inexpensive. If someone's like, well, yeah, there were $5 markers. What did you expect? I've gotten some inexpensive art supplies that have been legit amazing. And so that's why I don't always base my opinion off of how much the product cost. So I was really pulling for these, but you know, we were rooting for you. So again, on a smooth surface, I would say paper, probably canvas. If you just want to do some small little doodles, that would be great with these. But as for doing really large works, I wouldn't bet on it. Especially since you don't know what the colors are, so if these run out, it's not like you can just go grab one of your other marker brands, which you usually can't do anyway with most things because the colors aren't going to match. So it would have to be like this exact brand again from Five Below. But hey, I'm glad we tried them. So thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you like what you see, share the video with folks. And we'll be back again next week with another fabulous thing. I did find some lovely little kid supplies from Michaels that are marketed for children for summertime. And I was like, hey, you know what? If you're a grown-up that's had a rough day, those will probably be a fabulous thing to do. So I think that might be our next adventure that we take, is doing some kid projects as an adult. All right. So thanks again for joining me. I will see you in the next one.